We don't realize it, but most of the pain we feel in relationships comes not from the person we're with, but from the quiet collision between the fantasy we've built in our minds and the human who actually stands in front of us. Long before we ever meet someone, we've already been carrying an image, an ideal partner shaped by childhood wounds, old hopes, movies, social expectations, and all the things we once wished someone would finally give us. In that fantasy, the perfect partner always understands, always responds the right way, never gets overwhelmed, never misunderstands us, never shuts down, never forgets, never changes in a direction we don't like. In the fantasy, love is easy, communication is smooth, triggers magically disappear, and the other person somehow instinctively knows what we need without us having to ask. But the fantasy partner isn't real. They're made from our longing, our fears, and our unprocessed history. The real partner has their own mind, their own wounds, their own interpretations, their own pace of growth. And when the two don't match, we often don't realize that the disappointment we feel isn't about reality. It's about the shattering of an illusion we didn't even notice we were holding. That's when the subtle forms of resentment begin. Why aren't you more affectionate? Why don't you communicate like this? Why can't you just understand? Instead of seeing their humanity, we see their failures, measured against an impossible standard. And without meaning to, we start trying to reshape the person we love, pushing them, fixing them, correcting them, guiding them into the fictional character we thought they would become. But real humans are not projects. They don't come with upgrade buttons. When someone feels like they're being molded instead of loved, they pull away, not because they don't care, but because conditional love always feels like rejection. And ironically, the more we chase the fantasy, the more we lose the real connection that could have grown between two imperfect people. What makes this cycle even harder is that the fantasy protects us. It gives us the illusion that if our partner changes in just the right ways, then we won't have to face our own fears. Fear of vulnerability, fear of abandonment, fear of being truly seen. Expectations become armor. But armor keeps out love too. Real intimacy requires letting the fantasy die, which is terrifying because it forces us to confront the truth. Love is not perfect, predictable, or painless. Love is two histories meeting. Love is two nervous systems trying to understand each other. Love is learning, unlearning, apologizing, repairing, growing, and growing again. And when we finally release the fantasy, something powerful happens. We begin to see the person, truly see them. We notice the small, quiet ways they care. We see the efforts that aren't dramatic but are deeply human. The way they show up even when tired, the way they listen even when unsure, the way they try even when they don't fully understand what we need. We start appreciating who they are instead of resenting who they are not. And we also become more honest about ourselves, our own wounds, our own habits, our own unrealistic scripts. Because love at its core isn't about finding the ideal. It's about choosing a real person and being chosen back. It's about embracing someone's strengths and making space for their flaws, the same way you hope they will make space for yours. It's about the courage to love without expecting perfection and the humility to grow without demanding someone else do all the changing. The truth is, the real person will always be more interesting, more layered, and more lovable than the fantasy ever could be. Because the fantasy is smooth and predictable, but the real person is alive, full of depth, contradictions, and humanity. And in that humanity, love finds its home. The moment we let go of who we imagine they should be, we finally create room for who they actually are. And that is where real connection begins, where love becomes something deeper than desire, sweeter than expectation, and stronger than any fantasy we could ever create.